100.6. It's not the worst fever in the world, but enough to make you feel like shit. I don't know if I have a fever or if I'm sick right now because, you know, I got a virus of some kind, or if I'm just so angry at this LABRANT fam situation. But I'm gonna sit here with my tea and bitch about this because I'm really angry. I'm gonna try not to spill the tea, but I'm gonna spill the tea if you know what I mean. The LABRANT family just uploaded a video about abortion. They call it a documentary because sure, why not? Everything's a documentary nowadays. And it's a very, very pro-life, anti-abortion video. I'm talking propaganda to the extreme, to their 13+ million subscriber audience, a large percentage of which are young kids. They market themselves as this like family-friendly content, something that kids like to watch. They want to see other little kids, you know, and relate to these family experiences. And they have now chosen to politically evangelize along with religion. They're super religious to this very large audience of people, and decided to do it in such a disgusting way where they even compared abortion to the Holocaust, insinuating that it's even worse. I have no words. Family channels have a bad rap. Family channels have a bad rap, and that's for good reason. I mean, there's a list of reasons. We've got that one lady who tried to make her kid cry and look sad for the thumbnail and try to exploit that because their dog died. I mean, that's traumatic in and of itself. But we go even further when we find these channels that make their kids embarrassed by like pulling really actually mean-spirited pranks on them, talking about very private parts in their life, like, oh, so-and-so's going through puberty today. Like, that's not humiliating. Punishing them in kind of extreme ways on camera that make people extremely like concerned for the family. There's a lot of different really controversial ones out there, but today we're focusing on the LABRANT family. And let's not forget the video where they clickbaited their youngest daughter by saying that, you know, she had cancer. The video is literally titled "She Got Diagnosed with Cancer." Documentary. I should just put documentary in the title of this video, just cause. Spoiler alert, their daughter did not have cancer. She's perfectly fine. What they ended up doing was they had like a fear something was going wrong, so they thought, well, what if it is cancer? And then used that video to be like, but if kids do have cancer, this is how hard it is and we're gonna help. I mean, if you want to help, that's great. Go ahead and help. But like, don't clickbait it and make your subscribers of 13 million people, a lot of whom, like I said, are kids, think that Sally Sue has cancer. To me, that is really just unacceptable in so many ways. Imagine being a family that actually has a kid going through that and then watching these people just like profit off of childhood cancer. But it's okay though, because they made a donation. They're getting a lot of flack now too because they pulled their oldest daughter, or they're going to take her out of school to some capacity to homeschool so that she can be an extra pair of hands around the house for work and help with their new baby that's on the way.
With another baby coming too, like it's nice having an extra pair of hands around the house, even if it's a 9-year-old.
I mean, even if she's all about it and wants to help with the baby, like to just refer to your kid as like an extra pair of hands to help with people had problems with it, and I don't blame them. And you can say what you want about family channels. You know, there's a conversation out there about whether having one at all is okay. I'm of the mindset, obviously you guys probably know this, that there are a lot of channels out there that have family content that I don't have any issue with. I actually think it's pretty wholesome and adorable. And whether or not you agree with even having one at all, I think that it's pretty clear that these types of family channels that clickbait cancer, that use their frigging huge platforms that are targeted at kids to talk about abortion, I think there's a clear line there that's being crossed. And I feel like I say this in so many of my videos, but I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that YouTube isn't stepping in and doing something about this. At least age restrict it. At least. I don't think there's anything even questionable about how these people are just flat out wrong in what they're doing, and it is so infuriating to me. And I know you guys know I talk about atheism and religion a lot on this channel. Well, you know, I'm not going to completely deviate from that here either, because they posted on their story, or Cole did, I'm planning on taking all week off social media leading up to the launch, fasting and praying for God to use it in a mighty way and for him to get all the glory. Yeah, God's getting a lot of glory in this, dude. I believe with everything inside me that this is going to save lives. If you're able, please pray with with us. The enemy won't like this one. The enemy, what, like Satan? You mean like everybody who doesn't like this video is because of the devil? I know that's where they're going. This is like traditional religious rhetoric, which is so infuriating to me. And holy shit, could you believe it? The comments are turned off. I just, you know, that's shocking, right? It opens by saying all ad revenue made from this video will be directly donated to local pregnancy centers. What they're saying there is all ad revenue, right? They're not saying all money they make from this video. And I do believe they are possibly sponsored in some way, or if not, at least indirect connection with a company they're promoting throughout this video. And I will get to my reasons for thinking that way, actually knowing that they flat out admit it, but I don't know if people picked up on it. So to say all ad revenue is donated to me is misleading, because it makes the audience feel like, oh, everything they're making from this, they're donating. So they're not doing this for any like selfish kind of means or reason. And that's straight up not the case. Ad revenue only refers to the money that they get from the ads that play on their videos. Because, you know, of course, this abortion propaganda video is monetized. So, you know, that's the money that they're going to donate. That's not all the money they're making. At the very end of this, they thank Live Action for the video resources. Live Action is linked in the description. If you look, the Get Involved, embracegrace.com or whatever, they've got that linked as the first 2 URLs. They literally promote Embrace Grace so many times throughout this. I don't know if that's a sponsorship. It very well might not be, but it does seem an awful lot like an ad for it. We'll get into the actual thing that is an ad later though. I have seen organizations sponsor YouTubers before, so I'll just leave that up to speculation, but let's move on.
Instead of pro-life or pro-choice, is it possible for us to be pro-love?
I mean, unless you're gay, we don't love then. What I don't love, however, is how they're framing pro-choice as anti-love in some way. And I've said this in videos before. I've made many pro-choice videos. I don't really love the name or the term pro-life. Anti-choice, I think, is a more reasonable label, but that's just me. All right, so this is where things get ugly. This number, this abortion in the US gets up to like 61 million, almost 62 million. But right before that, they show the Rwandan genocide, Cambodian genocide, the Holocaust, and then right after that, the number of abortions. Okay, so their intent here is to say that abortion is worse than these genocides, including the Holocaust. They're using this propaganda as shock value because everyone knows how terrible these other events were. So if you compare that and show how much higher the number is for abortion, that's just gonna make you see how just truly horrible this thing is, right? And the outrage around this entire documentary does center a lot around the comparison of the Holocaust to abortion. And I completely agree. Also, there's a lot of people wondering how they even came to that number for abortion. Like, people look for that statistic and try to find it, and it just seems so much higher than anything you find. I saw a bunch of tweets about it, and it seems that they're adding together like all abortions since like the 1970s, early 1970s. I said it before, but I'll say it again. I have made so many videos on my feelings on abortion. When I got pregnant, a lot of people assumed that because I was having a baby, my views on that changed and I was somehow anti-choice. Didn't happen, doesn't necessarily work like that. You can both have a baby and respect people's choice as to whether or not they want to have a baby. And to be honest, after going through pregnancy and birth, that better be something you want to do if you're going to have to go through that, because it's a lot. Not to mention the financial and life responsibilities that come with having a baby. And if you're not at a place in your life to be able to do that, I don't think it's right that people like the LABRANT family pressure people into feeling that that's what they have to do if they're not ready.
I was 19 when I got pregnant with Everly, and I remember just being so scared. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was actually in school, and
she literally brags about how she was 19 and had a baby. That is not something that you should be encouraging. I just very much disagree with that.
In your professional opinion, when would you say life begins? It's such a simple question with such a complicated answer.
Something like 65% of abortions happen within the first 8 weeks. The first 2 weeks of pregnancy, you're not pregnant at all. Those 2 weeks are actually the first 2 weeks in your cycle. You have your period, week 1, week 2, those are counted. Then you ovulate around the end of week 2, and if fertilization occurs, you have week 3, week 4, you don't start seeing hormones in your body until after the first month. And like I said, the first 2 weeks are just the first 2 weeks in that cycle. You're not pregnant at all. You could have not even had sex week 1 and 2. So keep that in mind when they say 65% of abortions happen within the first 8 weeks. That is immediate. That is, you find out and immediately go and do something. And I promise you, by that point, not a lot of development has happened at all. And then taking a step even further than that, about 9 out of 10 abortions happen before 13 weeks. Late-term abortions, which this video focuses heavily on, right? They go to different doctors who have these, very biased opinions. They talk to 2 different physicians, get these very, very biased opinions on it. I would love them to talk to abortion doctors who actually have good experiences, or they're not like converted in some way to Jesus and now they feel like everything they did in their past is wrong. I mean, yeah, sure, you can get that biased opinion, but there's a lot more information out there that obviously they're going to neglect for the purposes of this video. And the abortions that they discuss with these doctors tend to focus on late-term abortions, which are very rare and happen when the mother's life is at risk. Which, by the way, one of them downplays, saying, well, we can do a C-section and have both mother and child live. I'm sorry, that's just straight up an inaccurate representation of the risks that go on with pregnancies. A lot of late-term abortions have to be performed to save the life of the mother. And to make this type of content and guilt people out of that, to me, is just, I mean, it's very wrong, but I guess that goes along with the theme of the rest of this video being extremely messed up. But those are the extremes, right? Those are easier to talk about because you can be more graphic, and they go into graphic detail, right? They're trying to scare people. They're trying to guilt people by giving these extreme details of what happens in late-term abortions, but we have to check into the reality of the situation and know that that's not what normally happens. Like I said, 9 out of 10 within the first 13 weeks, and most of that within the first 8 weeks, which means pretty immediately after you find out. To compare something like that to the Holocaust blows my mind. It blows my mind that someone could sit there with the audacity to do something like that, to make a comparison to the torture and murder of so many people, what they had to go through even before they died. Like, it is horrific. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the pictures of the gas chambers. You've seen pictures of just piles of bodies. You've seen pictures of the way these people were just starved to death. To make this comparison and use the experiences of these people throughout all these different genocides to make your point about abortion, to me, is just disgusting. It's not a good argument anyway, but the fact that you felt entitled enough to do something like that, man, you just don't have a grasp on reality. You know, my husband really keeps up to date with things that are going on the internet, and he brought this to me yesterday when the story came out. And just the look of absolute disgust on his face. I don't blame him. Like, you know, we have a 7-month-old son who we are raising with Jewish tradition because my husband is Jewish. Now, both of us are atheists, so, you know, we're not going to have the religious element, but the culture, the culture and the history behind it is so important. So much ancestry there of people who have survived something like this, and the gravity of that is understood. And it just makes me sick that someone like this family, the LABRANT family, can so casually throw something so serious out there. There are a lot of things wrong with this video. There are a lot of things wrong with these family channels that unfortunately kind of tarnish the name for everyone. But it's okay, right? Because all their ad revenue is being donated. They're not making money off this, right? So at some point in this video, they talk to a woman who started her own company. And I'm just gonna play the clip so you have an idea of what I'm talking about.
You know, a single mom that chose life, but God is now transitioning me to being a boss chick.
God is transitioning me into being a boss chick. So like I said, she started a business. There's a lot of religious propaganda throughout this video as well, which I'm sure is no surprise to you.
So I launched my business in May. It's called Bomb Moms, and I love the name. And I make luxury handmade bath bombs.
Does this feel like an ad to you? Because this feels like an ad to me.
Giving people opportunity just to relax and feel valuable, feel taken care of, because that is what God wants us to feel.
Yes, God wants you to feel relaxed with these bath bombs. These are God-inspired bath bombs, right?
We absolutely loved our conversation with Shanice. Her personality is just so infectious, and we know that she's just going to go on to do such incredible things. She's already doing incredible things.
Yes, let's cue all the shots of the product. Can we get a close-up on these bath bombs? Can everybody smile and laugh as they hold the bath bombs?
She's the perfect example of being able to have your baby and your dreams too. She's pursuing this bomb mom's career.
This is a pretty long ad in the middle of this video, huh?
And we just wanted to invest into that and sow into her because she's doing it right now.
Ah, there we go. We wanted to invest into that. What happens when people invest in a company? That's just so cringy to me. We're gonna invest in this company. We're gonna push it a lot in our video. We're gonna link it. We're gonna link it in the description. But of course, you know, in exchange for that fat kickback we're about to get. But it's okay, because all of our ad revenue is being donated, right? We're not making money from this. And then of course at the end there's a Bible verse, and then special thanks to Live Action, like I said. I don't know, I just get a very sponsored vibe from a lot of different segments of this video. It seems like they're pushing these things a lot, and they're all listed there in the description. But that's okay though, because like I said, all ad revenue is being donated. Just wait for YouTube to demonetize it, and then they can keep saying it. All ad revenue is being donated, so it's cool we're doing this. Kind of like when we clickbaited our daughter and said she had cancer. We're donating, so it's fine. It's fine now. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this documentary that I just made on the LABRANT family. I am very disgusted. It truly does surprise me when I see people do stuff like this on the internet, like that they don't have enough going on upstairs to realize that this is a bad idea. Like, no one around them that they talked to about this said, hey, you know, maybe don't compare it to the Holocaust, or hey, maybe don't make a huge political statement that's biased and market it to you know, very young audiences. No, it's fine, because they're donating. I don't know, I've read some of their responses, and they basically say, well, if this saves even, you know, one baby, if it encourages even one mother to not have an abortion, then it's worth it. I'm sorry, I struggle with it, because part of me thinks that they believe that they do feel this way. Like, I come from a religious background. I was very heavily indoctrinated. I know what it feels like to be fearful of things like this. I know what it's like to have these thoughts and opinions so ingrained into your mind that you actually might believe them. I always try to see things from both sides, even though I don't agree with what they're doing. I do feel for anyone who's been that kind of indoctrinated, because it's a lot and very difficult to come out of. So I believe them. I believe them that they think if they saved even one baby that it's worth it, or something like that, because they view it as a baby, not a fetus. That's what they teach you in Jesus school. A lot of that and not a lot of science. But it just seems like they make a very long list of bad decisions, and they keep making bad decisions. And the cancer clickbait to me is an obvious bad choice. Like, they should have known better. They're adults. They should have known better than that. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Leave what you think in the comment section below. I know I said a lot in this video. I'm trying to make it quick, but I suck at that. I can never say anything fast. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see me rant about more things in the future. I was literally in the middle of making a pretty good video about Dave Rubin, but I felt the need to address this first. So that'll be my next video. Subscribe if you want to see that and other videos where I rant and professionally complain about stuff. Until then, cheers. Hope y'all are doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Drink your water and don't get sick like me.